Has this ever happened to you? You move out of town for college, and there you meet these friends that you love and adore and hope they're in your life forever. But eventually you have to graduate and move back to your small little town and live with your parents, and you're all alone in their house because despite applying to a bunch of businesses, they are not hiring, even though they say they're hiring. And even though you communicate with these people daily, it still doesn't fulfill that need for like someone being there. And you notice that Valentine's is coming up, and you're like, oh, I'll come see them this weekend. But here's the thing, your mom's car broke down a couple months ago, and she has yet to get it fixed, so right now she's using your car, and this weekend she wants to go to Hobby Lobby, so you can't really do anything, because what are you going to do, tell your mom no? So now you're just kind of alone in your house on Valentine's, making stuffed dolls. Probably not. Mainly because I haven't shown you how to make the dolls yet. Iron, scissors, yarn, fabric, acrylic paint, a wooden spoon, stuffing, a sewing machine. Although if you do not know how to sew, you can simply use liquid stitch. But if you do know how to sew and you're a masochist, you can just use a needle and thread. Start by laying out 1 yard of folded fabric that has been ironed flat. I'm using 100% cotton, but you can use any fabric of your choice. Sketch out the doll on the fabric using a pencil or some type of tailor chalk. I am using an empty 12-pack of Dr. Pepper's as reference for the length of the doll. For the size of the head, I'm using a bottom of a coin collector, and for the bottom of the doll, I'm just using a simple plastic bowl. I connect the two circles by drawing a line that goes inward to give this idea of hips. I've made the lines darker, but I've also drawn the exact same line, tracing around the body about 1 inch away. After cutting off the part that has the body, I moved on to making the arms on the leftover fabric. I made them the length of an ice tray and the width of a quarter. And the legs were done almost exactly the same, just maybe an added inch. And instead of the nubs, there are little feetsies. On the sewing machine, I am sewing with a single stitch on the second line that was drawn. If you're wanting to use liquid stitch, pretty much do the exact same thing, but use the glue and follow that second line, either gluing or sewing. Make sure you leave a small area untouched so you are able to flip it inside out and stuff it. After you're done either gluing or sewing it, it's gonna look a little funky, not gonna lie, maybe even a little phallic, but do not worry, simply cut off the excess and fold it inside out. And that is the exact same technique you want to do with the arms and the legs. This is also where the wooden spoon is going to come into hand, with helping flipping the arms and the legs inside out. And after you're done stuffing the legs and arms, sew or glue the top of the tubes. After stuffing the body with either poly stuff, plastic bags, even scrap fabric, good to go closing up the opening. Then sewing on the arms and the legs. So the hair is done by taking individual loops of yarn and just sewing them into the scalp. This is a very tedious task, so if you're not into it, I completely understand. I mean, look at this. I've only done 2 lines of scalp. This took me about 40 minutes, and the entire back is not even covered. Now, that personally doesn't bother me because I made the hair strands long enough that it's really not that noticeable. But if that bothers you, there is a quicker method. Take a line of thread and tie a knot from one side to the other. And then you just want to loop tie the knot. Now, you might be thinking, that seems just as tedious as sewing the individual strands in. And yes, it is tedious, but it is quicker. You find that the yarn this way bunches up a little faster. And with the hair, I can finally finish my creation. Now, for this doll, I made myself because what's better company than me? But you don't have to. You can make whoever you want. It doesn't even have to be a real person. It can be a fictional character like Cinderella, Nosferatu, J-Slack. Just be creative and have fun because you never know when the world is going to end. Hamilton, would you rather have unlimited bacon but no games, or games unlimited but no games? Sorry, baby.